Hi there. Welcome to episode 4 of the Speakrr podcast. I am Caleb Adekunle, and welcome once again. It has been weeks since I released the last episode of the Speakrr podcast. For those of you that follow me, you know that for a while I have been off content creation, of active engagement in the things that I do. And the reason for that is because the Nigerian university system has been, I don't know, let me call it a blessing now, but it has been on my neck to get back to work as a student of architecture. I've had exams and my semester project work that took me away from content creation, and it took most of my time, so I barely had time to do any other thing than to work on my drawings and to prepare for examination. And for weeks I was out, but then I am back now, and this is the first video. It's not meant to be a video, but this is the first episode of the podcast series that I am recording in a while. For those of you that remember, the last episode was the birthday edition. That was in July. That was for my birthday. That was July 28th. I think I dropped that episode 2 days after my birthday, and you listened to it, and a few days after that I had to take the break that I took. I'm back now, and it feels really, really good to be back. While I was away, I took the liberty to document some of the moments that I had. Some of the times, I would sit with my friends on, each of our drawing boards, drawing each line just to make it make sense to our project supervisors, and, all of that, all the sleepless nights, because we want to study for us to come out with flying colors, right? I made a documentary of that moment, and I'm currently working on a video, so look out for that short film. It's going to be a short film, so watch out for that short film. It's going to come out whenever it comes out, right? And I hope you are able to see, to get an insight to, a little aspect of the life of a student of architecture, right? For those of you that might be watching me for the first time still, I am Caleb Adekunle, and I am your host on the Speakrr podcast. If you have forgotten, here's a quick reminder that the Speakrr podcast is a podcast series where we talk about anything creative. We talk about the creative process, we talk about the business of creativity, we talk about basic life decisions that we make as creators, in our daily lives. And the beautiful thing about this podcast series is that it's not really just limited to creative, right? Like, most of the things that I share, majorly from my own personal experience, are things that anyone anywhere can relate to. If you are a school teacher, right, or if you're a bus conductor, or you're a driver, right, or you're a bank manager somewhere, some of the things that I talk about are things that really affect many of us, in real life, right, in our lives, regardless of the profession you're in, regardless of the skill set you have, regardless of the position you find yourself in the society, right? So I hope you find value for this podcast series, and I am welcoming you, the first timers, officially to the Speakrr podcast, right? Don't forget that we have an Instagram account at the Speakrr podcast. The Speakrr is spelled TheSpeakrr podcast, right? That's the handle for the podcast. So please go ahead and follow the Speakrr podcast on Instagram, and listen to the videos, watch the videos rather, listen to the audio versions of each episode, and I hope you find value for each episode, right? So because I like adding value, let me share a little part of my experience while I was away for the last 2-3 weeks, right? I told you I was away because I had to do my semester project. The thing about architecture is, I think it's everywhere, all over the world. Anyone studying architecture has to work on series of projects every semester. Like every academic semester, you get at least one project to work on, right? So last semester was to design an housing development, right? That's a sweet name for an housing estate, right? And the focus of the housing development project was that the brief said that I had a responsibility to design, putting into consideration sustainability. And what aspect of sustainability were we looking at? Was I trying to solve for the part where we reduce carbon emission within the estate, right? So we want to achieve net zero, as regards greenhouse gases that are emitted, as regards carbon gases that are emitted. There's this theory about it affecting the ozone layer, thereby destroying the earth itself, right? We want to prolong our lives, right? So the solution I was to provide with the project has to be one that reduces carbon emission within the estate. And one of the ways I was able to do that is by providing a non-motorized system of transportation within the estate, right? So that means that yes, you are going to use your cars in the estate, but we are limiting the extent to which you can use your car, right? And as an alternative for carbon emitting vehicles, I was able to make provisions for electric system for those that have electric vehicles, right? So as part of the policy for the estate that I designed, it will be your responsibility as a homeowner to ensure that you get an electric vehicle, right? And for transportation, okay, now I'm talking about architecture. Well, let me give you that gist, then I'll switch to the point I was trying to get to, right? So within the estates, right, I made provisions for electric golf carts, right? That's what they're called. So if you love golf, if you watch golf, or if you play golf, right, there are the carts they use on the golf course, right? Yeah, they are electric, right? So I made provisions for that, for transportation within the estate, and there was definitely provision rather for bicycle tracks, for jogging tracks, just to improve the health of those that are living in that estate, and to improve the microclimate of the estate, right? So those were some of the solutions I provided to the problem that was put in front of me for this semester, right? So back to the whole thing, right? So during that period when I was working on my project, right, well, it was kind of tight because we got the brief for the project before exam started, right? And examination started, and we got a date for the final defense. And the thing about architecture is, I don't know, but you are hardly ever done with any project work in any semester, because the more you think you're done, the more you see something new you want to write. So maybe there's something that just comes to your mind and you feel like, let me do this analysis sheet. Oh, I think I should do a demographic analysis of this particular region, or I think I should do a transportation analysis, or I think I should do a site analysis for this part, or I think I should do a noise analysis. There are just so many things you want to do, right? Is it a construction aspect? You want to, I think I should draw the detail of this particular region so that when they're constructing this building, they know what is happening there, right? There is just so much, so much to do. So you are hardly ever done. Right? But the thing about it is, this particular course we defend the project for happens to be our major course for the semester. Throughout our year, we have this course from the first year in school till the very last year. So that means it's a prerequisite. If you fail one, you can't do the next, right? That means you automatically carry a new year, right? That's called extra year for our side. For Nigeria, you get, right? So there is always this tension that is all over your body. You are worried that you will be able to meet up with the deadline because there is a date for presentation already, right? You're worried about the deadline. You are worried about you not rushing too much, such that the quality of the work you're going to present is not bad, right? So you want to present quality work, but most times the time frame you have to work on all these things, they are very limited, right? And for someone like me that still has a business somewhere to take care of, there are some clients that I just couldn't say, no, get off my space, because there were some that we had work going on, and the work I was on for them was pretty urgent. For some, they needed the drawings for construction on site, all of those things. They couldn't possibly stop construction on their own project clients' work because of me, right? So I had to deliver some of those, projects. So it was like me juggling everything. For some part of that period, I had to study for exam, then I had to work on my own project, then I had to work on my client's work. Man, my neck was long. Look at me. If you look at me, you're gonna notice that my neck's still long, right? I see the way I'm black. Like I am this black now because of the workload. I was so stressed. I was so worried that it got to a point, when it was a few days to the presentation day, I couldn't sleep. I had to stay up all night for many nights for me just to be able to, meet up with the drawings I had to do. I had to stay up all night and draw, and I was just so worried. Right, there was, the presentation tension in my body, and it wasn't really, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, really, right? But then the day of presentation came. Like it just came. The day of presentation came. I went in. I did my presentation. It was a good presentation because I felt good after the presentation, right? And it was done. Like. That was it. Like no extra, no nothing. You get like there nothing extra happened, right? But then before that day, I was worried. I was worried to the point that I even didn't sleep for nights. Like for about 2-3 nights, I had not even a second of sleep, right? Because I was worried, right? So after the presentation, I felt like shit. Permit me to use the word shit. I already used it, but permit me in areas. Right, so I felt like I didn't feel good about myself. I was weak. I was tired. I was hungry because I was not eating properly that period. I was just thinking about my drawings, and I was drawing. Like I had no sleep. You understand? Then after the whole thing, as usual, I took time to reflect, and I felt like, guy, you don't fuck up. Why? Like, why didn't you sleep when you should have slept? Right? Like, why didn't you eat when you should have eaten? Because at the end of the whole thing, it just didn't matter, right? Because, God was with me during my presentation, and, I don't know, it just didn't make sense anymore, right? So the whole point is, you can't do extra. Like, if you run past the track, like, when we're in the Olympics, right, we have to run an 100-meter race. Yes, like, there's an 100-meter track in front of you. Right, the goal is for you to get to that 100-meter point, right? You can't start to the run, you turn out to 200 meters. Who sent you? The race stopped, hours ago, right? So what's the whole point? Like, you can't draw more than you can. It's not possible for me to take 2 pencils and start drawing on 2 drawing boards at the same time, right? So no matter how fast I am, right, I can only do what I have the capacity to do. Right, so there really is no point in worrying, right? Because if you think about itself, worry, it take away from you. Like, it takes away from you. It does not add anything extra to you. It does not give you the ability to do more than you can. That's the whole point. You can't do more than you can. You can push yourself to the limit. Yeah, I pushed myself. I didn't sleep, right? I pushed myself. I felt, if I cook now, that time that I am, spending to cook, I feel use them. I don't draw like 2 sheets. You understand, right? Okay, that was me pushing myself, though it wasn't necessary, right? But I pushed myself, but I couldn't still do more than my capacity. So that's the whole point. Like, why worry? Akunama Matata. No worry for the rest of your days. It does not worth it. Just, I feel the best thing we can do as creators is to focus on that task that we have in front of us at the moment. When we focus on it, when we are not distracted by any worry, when we are not distracted by the fact that there is a deadline to meet, right? We are able to pour in more energy into it, and we become more productive, right? So think about it. You're a school teacher, right? You have students to teach, and you're worried while in class. Trust me, you're not going to explain it to them any better. You are not even going to explain it to them as much as you would if you were not worried, right? So think about it. Think about that moment in your own life where you were worried about something, right? So as creators, my message now is Akunama Matata. No worries, just take it away. Okay, so I know there's a new version of that Akunama Matata thing. It's called Akunama Sakpa. That one, they make everybody worry. Like when Sakpa owed you ritual level, bro. But what's the reason why we are creators, right? It's for us to escape Sapana. Now, because this Sapana did how everybody, they are the noble ones that do what they do, because the money doesn't matter. You get, money will come. I know money will come, but when you think about it, we all still want the money. Like me, I want the money. You understand? I'm not saying you're making money the major priority at this stage in your career. That's your own personal decision. But to an extent, the end result of what we are doing is for us to escape Sapa. Right? So I'm not saying Akunama Sapa, that Sapa will hold you for the rest of your days, right? But I am saying Hakuna Matata, don't worry about anything, but instead channel that energy into that task you have in front of you right now. Like, do that thing, make it the best you can, right? Quality over quantity, right? Because what's the point of having 50 things? Okay, for me as a student of architecture now, what's the point of having 50 sheets on the day of presentation and they're not equal to one? It don't make sense now. Think about it. It does not make sense, right? Here is someone now, he has pasted his sheets, because that's how we do presentation in my school. You come with your sheets, you have a wall in front of you, and you paste all your sheets where your jurors, sit in front of the sheets. Now they analyze everything you've drawn on those sheets, right? So here you are with 50 sheets on the wall, and everybody be like, God, this guy has worked. And wait till I go use kill you. Now I just want wrong foundation detail. Like, why you draw this line here? Like, just a single line can mess up your whole 50 sheets. What's the point? But think about it, that you have just 18 or 20 sheets, right? And your 20 sheets are well detailed. Like, every line is meaningful. Like, you have not drawn any senseless, any useless line there that will spoil your life on the day of presentation, right? Does that not just make sense? I think it does. To me, it does. So, no worries. Quality over quantity, and life is going to be a lot easier for you, right? I have learned my own lesson. If I dey work and sleep on you, I go sleep. Okay, I'm not saying be unserious. When it comes to your client's work, deliver, in time, on time, all of those things, right? But really, many times I'll be worried. That worry is really not worth it, right? So if you're creative listening to me now, here is my own experience. In the last 2-3 weeks that I've been away, I was worried for some part of it. It affected my productivity. It made me ignore my physical health, right? It made me not sleep. I didn't eat. And now I think I am lean. My neck is long and I am black. I hope to be back, in good health. I'm not sick, I beg, but I hope to, regain the weight I have lost and eat well and sleep well. Well, I've been doing that for the last couple of days now, right? So I hope to be me fully, right? But I hope, more than anything, I wish that you're going to consider these things that I've said. Think about them. If you find them meaningful, I hope you put them into practice, right? So you're going to see more of me. You are going to see more of me. Expect that short video, that short film, that short movie that I promised you, right? Expect it. I'm going to work on it. Like, I'm going to take my time by God's grace, so help me God, to work on it and make it available for you, right? So thank you for watching this episode. Let me quickly remind you, this guy, me, I am Caleb Oluwatosin Adekule. I'm a podcaster, I'm a graphic designer, I am a creator basically, and I am your host on the Speakrr podcast, right? The Speakrr podcast is coming with some serious vibe, right, this time. So I hope you stay with me. I hope you listen to my next episode. If you're listening, if this is your first episode you're listening to, go back to the previous ones. I have the podcast on Apple Podcasts. I have it on Google Podcasts. I have it on Anchor. I have it on, various platforms that you can listen. Just, there's a link tree up in my bio. Just click on that link tree. It's going to show you all the platforms you can listen to me on. And you can even check me on IG. I'm recording a video for this. Some of you might be listening to the audio, but I am recording a video simultaneously, right? So you can watch me talk about these things on IGTV, like IG and my G. I'm waiting for IG to create an audio platform, but for now, IG na my G. So go to IG, that is my G, to watch this IGTV. Call me the Rhymes Master. Right, so I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.